Um, give it another 30 seconds or so.
Okay. Regular virtual meeting of the Rio Dell City Council. Roll call, please.
Mayor Garnes,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Johnson, Councilmember Carter,
Here.
Councilmember Wilson,
Here.
Councilmember Woodall,
Here.
City Manager Knopp,
Here.
Chief of Police Connor, Finance Director Dillingham,
Here.
Community Development Director Caldwell,
Here.
Water Superintendent Jensen,
Here.
Wastewater Superintendent Taylor,
Here.
and City Clerk Dunham's present. Thank you.
Thank you. There are no actions taken on the items in closed session. Now we will stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Public presentations. This is the time for persons who wish to address the council on any matter not on this agenda and over which the council has jurisdiction. As such, a dialogue with the council or staff is not allowed under the Ralph M. Brown Act. Items requiring council actions not listed on this agenda may be placed on the next regular agenda for consideration if the council directs, unless a finding is made by at least 2/3 of the council that the item came up after the agenda was posted and is of an urgency nature requiring immediate action. Please limit comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. Are there any hands raised or emails?
There are currently no hands raised.
And I've seen no emails.
Thank you, both. So we will now move on to the consent calendar. Are there any items that any council member would like to remove from the consent calendar? Hearing none, are there any hands raised or emails regarding the consent calendar?
There are no emails.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Councilmember Wilson, I make a motion that we approve the consent calendar as presented.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
A second, Carter.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Carter,
Yes.
Councilmember Wilson,
Yes.
Woodall,
Yes.
Mayor Garnes.
Yes. Motion carries 4-0. Now, staff reports and communications, page 23 in your packets. City Manager?
Thank you, Mayor Garnes and members of the council. So we have today, you may have noticed some of the receptacles throughout town are in the process of being replaced. So we did finally receive the shipment of the new landfill and recycling containers for the community. So those will be put out over the course of today and also tomorrow. That process went through a ad hoc committee with council members Woodall and Carter. And so we're happy that the process has finally come to its conclusion there were some delays related to COVID and supply issues with the vendor. We were hoping to get those out well before Wildwood Days, but they are out in the process right now. Staff did receive a allocation of some N95 masks for the business community here in Rio Dell, and so those are also distributed last week throughout the Wildwood Avenue business corridor. And then I also want to make special mention that Governor Newsom appointed Mayor Garnes to the state's Seismic Safety Commission. So that's certainly an important position and certainly an honor, considering the relatively few number of elected officials from Humboldt County who get to serve on these state boards. So congratulations to Mayor Garnes.
Thank you.
With that, we do have the report on your agenda, and we're happy to answer any questions that the council may have regarding its contents.
Thank you, City Manager. And thank you for the recognition. Councilmember Woodall.
Congratulations, Deborah. That's great.
Thank you.
And I just say from the staff report, it looks like we had a very busy month, and I want to thank all the employees for taking care of us. I mean, there were a lot of things going on this month. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Woodall. Councilmember Wilson?
I don't think I have any questions.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Carter?
Thank you. I just, I wanted to thank Public Works for the tree trimming on Edwards Drive. It looks nice. And also for riding bikes to work. That's exciting.
That's exciting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any hands raised or emails regarding the staff report?
I do not see any hands raised at the time.
I see no emails.
Thank you. Then we will move to approve resolution number 1501-2021, adopting a display of flags policy. Page 30 in your packets. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor Garnes, members of the council. Before I turn this over to Community Development Director Caldwell, I just wanted to, point this out that, we do have a robust and very nice display of flags during holiday seasons here in town, thanks to the excellent work of Nick Angeloff, the president of our Chamber of Commerce, as well as numerous volunteers and contributors to the project. I think it's very clear that it's a very well received project that they've undertaken. And I certainly personally agree with that as well. However, we do want to make sure that we are covered for the near term and the long term over the many years to come to make sure that the city has a specific flag policy related to the display of flag material, which of course can encompass a wide variety of displays under that can be placed on flags. So with that, we did receive, and unfortunately the chief of police is out on a well-deserved vacation at this point in time, but the police department at one point did receive some questions and had to settle an issue related to one of the flag displays, supposedly relating to a non-friendly entity towards the United States. And so it did spur some questions on staff's part in terms of how do we appropriately display flags in the city and avoid conflict or confrontation into the future. And so I do appreciate that Community Development Director Caldwell was able to put together a basic flag policy to make sure that we avoid any type of confrontation in the future. So with that, I will turn it over to Community Development Director Caldwell to see if he can fill in any gaps that I may have left out.
Once again, the city manager has done a great job in explaining the background and why this was brought to your council for consideration. If you look at attachment 2, which is the recommended flag policy, which starts on page 34 of your packet, that's really where the meat of this is, obviously. And of course, this is all open discussion, decision, and council fit. Basically, the policy or the purpose is to establish guidelines for the display of the United States of America flag, the California state flag, and hopefully one day the city of Rio Dell flag. The policy is basically going to apply to city-owned property, and of course, City Hall and the City Council chambers as well. I don't know. I hope that all the council members had an opportunity to look over the recommended draft policy. It's fairly simple, fairly short. Of course, I stole much of the language from other jurisdictions, and my intent was to try to keep it simple. If you go to page 35, it talks about basically subsection 4 about the flags of the United States being displayed at half-staff on Memorial Day by order of the President, usually upon the death of principal figures of the United States, the governor of a state or other officials or foreign dignitaries, basically as ordered by the federal government. Also talks about the state flag and the governor's direction. And then the final paragraph, just above ceremonial flags, states the mayor shall have the authority to direct that flags be displayed at county facilities. That's obviously a typo. It should say city facilities. Be flown at half-staff upon the death of an official or person of significant public import, the death of a city employee while on duty, or the death of citizens during or occurring in a disaster of significant proportion. That seemed to be a pretty common policy for local jurisdictions. The other one has to do with ceremonial flags, and there was discussion in today's staff meeting exactly what is a ceremonial flag. And I actually could not find a good definition of a ceremonial flag, and maybe the council or a member of the council may know what a ceremonial flag is. As the city manager indicated, there was some discussion, I think it was during the Memorial Day flag posting, regarding a foreign government flag that was displayed on city grounds. Our recommendation is that only flags recognized by the United States may be displayed upon the request of the mayor, a member of the city council, or the city manager. Basically, it says the flag should be of equal size and displayed on staffs of equal height as United States flag. And that, of course, is a talking point right there. Should the council desire, those flags of those other countries actually could be flown at a lesser height. We also talk about the possibility of a sister city and sharing that flag, basically displaying that flag. That's in subsection 2. And then subsection 3 talks about basically significant flags, local historical flags that may be flown basically by proclamation of the city council. Let's see, it also talks about ceremonial flags should no longer be displayed no more than 10 continuous days. And then it talks about the size. All flags should be no larger than 3 feet by 5 feet and no smaller than 2 feet by 4 feet. Again, staff's intent was to keep this simple. And of course, it's a living document. It's to be included in the City Council Procedures Manual or Policy Manual. So, of course, could be changed at any time the council desires. With that, I'll answer any questions the council may have, listen and encourage any recommended changes the council may have. And that will conclude.
Thank you. Thank you. So I will open it up. I think it's It's perfectly fine. I noticed the county and I figured it was a typo, but I'm glad you brought it up. I forgot to speak to it earlier. So are there any questions? We'll start with Councilmember Wilson.
No questions. I believe it's a good ordinance and it's great that we have something to honor our flags.
Thank you. Councilmember Carter?
Thank you. I'm also a big fan of this. My only question was going to be, what is a ceremonial flag of significance to the city's history? But it sounds like that's a little up in the air too. So no, beyond that, I think this looks fine. And for the record, my understanding of a ceremonial flag is basically an American flag that has little fringes on it.
Yeah, and
Oh,
that was actually
interesting.
the only definition. Yeah, I'm sorry. That was actually the only definition that I found as well.
Yeah, I was just wondering. I always, my brain likes to jump to like worst case scenarios and like somebody saying, well, this highly offensive flag is significant to our history or something. Like, I don't know, but it's not a big deal.
Okay.
Thank
Well,
you.
I think this way we're covered.
Yeah.
Councilmember Woodall?
No, it looks good to me. Thanks, Kevin, for the work on it.
All right. And I have no questions. And as Councilmember,
Mayor Garnes, you got muted somehow.
okay, and thank you. Thank you, Kevin. And I have no further questions. Are there any hands raised or are there any emails?
Currently, I see no hands raised.
And there are no emails.
Okay, thank you. So is there a motion to adopt, hang on for a second, is there a motion to adopt or approve rather resolution number 1501-2021 adopting a display of flags policy?
So moved. Carter.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second, Woodall.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Carter,
Yes.
Councilmember Wilson,
Yes.
Councilmember Woodall,
Yes.
Mayor Garnes.
Yes. Motion carries 4-0. That brings us to council reports and communications. Councilmember Carter?
Thank you. I attended the REDEC meeting on August 23rd and heard a program from the Humboldt State people about turning into a polytechnic university. And it was really exciting and seems like it's going to bring some good stuff to this area and kind of makes me wish I had something to go back to school for. But yeah, other than that, that is my report. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Councilmember Wilson?
I have a HWMA meeting this Thursday. They are still trying to recruit a executive director with to replace the current director who's wanting to retire, and it's just a long process. The people they solicited didn't work out, so they resubmitted it. Went out for public, and so they're reviewing those applications again. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilmember Woodall? Nothing
to report. Thank you.
Okay. And I had the first meet and greet with the Seismic Council today, and we have our first commission meeting on Thursday. It looks like it's going to actually be very interesting. The chairman of the commission is on the ground in Haiti. And because we're doing everything virtually anyway, he will be giving a report from Haiti. And so we'll see like firsthand what's happening. And we've been warned that it's not going to be a happy report. It's going to be pretty serious but not quite as bad as 2010. So, and we had set up a meeting for the walkability and beautification committee, but it had to be changed and massaged. And so then I thought, well, since we were welcoming a new member tonight, that we then could just set up, and I will we'll get it all together and figure that out. And I want to thank Supervisor Bushnell for being here in our meeting. I don't know. Did you want to say anything? Can I ask you? Technically, it could be a council report, a staff report. Other than that, I think that is about it. I don't think Michelle wants to say anything. Anything?
I just wanted to say hi.
Okay. Well, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it. So I think that is about it for us tonight. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second.
I'll second.
Amanda. Okay, we have a motion and a second. We will adjourn until our meeting of September 21st. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening. Meeting adjourned.